أبزلهم أستير إلى هالسنتين
أوكي نولدات دي انتي كولودي ليسي قدم كم تخلى كم سيد بالكايو قولعتي يحبون يبنيرهم مثلا كم دبحلسي يحبوا يبنيرهم تسمع ولا أنا حجيجن ولدات 0% كتبل أتخليني خا مانياتو مستي awareness سبن دافلت أي متصدلو قولعت كا أوتيزم دلون قولعسي diagnose يكون لو يرأي لو حجي ببزحياب ولا بإرترا
هو in fact يكون من دحركم حدا ناي أوتيزم هوسبيتال كلينيك تخافيت الله بس مرة نسوي تراي زي كنا خازا من ياش ما سنيت ناوم كيداني راكو دكتور يميرد إذا ميس إرتراح توارد در كيدا زلنا نحريهم ما نفتهم نايكم عينة تستايزوا لهم قولوا خيداني راس حجي يوزح يزول I think مستي ممرمار ندقنا حجزوا مثل زرخوبو أب على بسابة نحريهم عبيتي هوسبيتالاتكم معبينا يقولوا تخافيت الله بحاجة مبزح كل يزرق أزله أبتن إحنا عزنا برنامج زين كم تقول كيف بزح يكون نير حد اختي أخذ سمع سو نايم انتهي مهند سرا يكونن I think yeah hopefully بعد دكتور نحر كم انتهي كم مثل حرق زين نحر فريق كم مهند رأينا probably.
That's awesome. I didn't know they had a hospital just for kids with developmental delays. That's wonderful.
They probably opened recently, but I've heard that there is one clinic specifically for autism in Asmara.
تايدي معلش أتيكم دام مونغومري أبا أنا جبت زعبي هو عد بمولو ساب زي الجون كلهم تيات كلهم يمزولتو والحد تلهم يقولهم أنا كمان تعرفني رخصاب عشرة حدا ميدان بري مولد خامس ولا ستيل نوع مالتي كم زي تعرف بعض كم زي أوتيزم زلوا سير لا يترينه كل تعنا زلوا حدا ترح نيرنا مساتنا جيت وانت ولدنا كون ولا بزبون اللي تعبز أنا عملت أنا بزنا بركوس عبزين درجة واحدة تيم فاميلي حبش حتى زلوا كابتن بقولهم تريح بس قصرين تقصركم بزحات انتهي زي قال إلى كاس من نفسها خسيت خونينه
يعني لو ما خمس بالكاي درجة أو كل ولا نسون تدرجة ونسزفال على حجة هم تعنتو دكتور زين نبرد كتحجي نسخاز بالكاي تم زقوي بينما بسرجة محا كتحاز زي دي خوف زي يقول قلمتات نسو ألو درجاتات I think Dr. Ziada had got I think it would be good if you just touch about the levels of the autism that way we understand.
Yeah, basically there's different severities of autism. There are children on one hand that just need a little bit of support learning how to talk. And then on the more extreme level, there's children who can't take care of themselves at all, who don't show the ability to be able to speak. So there's different severities as well. So part of me also wonders, are there kids with autism back home that maybe are the lesser severities, but here in the US, we're seeing the full spectrum. And also, I mean, the US is a country of 300 million people, right? So just statistically speaking, we're going to see more incidences, but for, I think, Ertarab maybe having a smaller population size, maybe that's why, Weldat didn't see any people in his neighborhood with autism.
Yeah, فكس لازتي انت تقولت أزلات أوتيزم تبها درجات تعلقهم ولا تسلز قليو زل عليه خون خيلي تنقل على حدا أكتيف تخبري كل يوم جزار سوم كان خونو وي حد نجاركم تركي خزارو هاي كل يوم اليوم كدحان زخنة قالوا سلسلة اللي عطالوا صار يجيب تعمي السون كمان مخان جنا زيادة دافعنا كيدنا خالق جن مسناي إيرتراس تحاز حدا تقصر ونكرد عنا لو أمريكا على سلسلة 100 مليون زخون سبيز ولا سبب متى بوزح كرينا ما نبتان حركة كاجن أب 4-5 مليون زي بز حساب لكن خمس بالكاي أخذ كابنا كأخفال على خلص إذا كبارهم طريقة له زلوا تخلوا مسوسة تحزو حد قاون خيلي تبع الله. Okay. قالوا تحطوا زلكم فلاور دونجي خاتي حبته أدحين welcome. I don't know if you two know each other. I want you to guys meet.
Okay, perfect.
Connect. I don't know. Like, it's hard to talk about Adhan in front of her. You know how our culture is. She's been serving our community. I think before I've known her for a while, and then I got connected with her about probably 2 years ago now. I think she's probably one of the first ones to talk about autism in our community, starting on Facebook, and everybody with an autism child knows Adhanet in the Habesha community in general. So
that's awesome. That's so important. Oh my goodness.
100%.
I love it.
Yes.
Hello.
Can I say that?
Siyum,
That's
hi.
Yes,
Dr. Siyum. Hey, sister.
There's many. Sorry, Adhanet. I
Okay,
knew
go ahead.
Adhanet from 2016, 2017 when she was doing the autism awareness on Facebook. And honestly, she's done so much for the community. We don't appreciate her enough.
Yes.
That's so important.
All right. I think I was happy with بعض القصة. مسجامة خي تحرك على معه.
This is awesome. I love how, when I see our community speak about this topic, obviously, people who know me, just to let you know, Dr. Siyum, this is a very important topic for me. I specialize in neurodiversity. I'm a licensed professional counselor, been almost 20 years, 16 years. And I do have a child with autism who's 12 years old as well. And so I am the first one in our community in terms of Tigrinya speakers who spoke regarding mental health and also neurodiversity autism. And I continue to do that. And I actually been MIA because I've been in training. I specialize in trauma and autism, and I continue to do that. And again, right now, we're talking about it, which is amazing for me. That's why I'm kind of like, I need to back a little bit because I need people to talk more about it. And again, I'm studying, I continue to do that. 90% of people who I serve are obviously Americans, you know what I mean? I am licensed in Georgia. I was in Missouri and Illinois too, but right now Georgia is enough for me and I'm good with that. But it's just very important for me and that we continue to speak in our community because there's a lot of stigma, a lot of not only about autism, but about mental health in general.
For sure.
And that's that's been my goal and my mission is we need to talk about it like anything else.
Yeah.
Like anything else. If we can talk about diabetes, about anything else, I'm like, there should not be any shame at all to talk about mental health or autism. So anyway, I'm so happy that you guys are talking about it. And I've been doing a lot of studies, especially definitely there is autism in our community, even in Asmara. People I've led groups and all that stuff in our community, which I'm not right now because I've already learned and I've already released them. And now I'm like, I show you the way, I show you the light. That's how I am. In my life philosophy is like, I'm going to show you the way, I'm going to show you the light, and you got to continue to be, you got to fly. I don't believe in codependency and all that stuff. So anyway, but I know for sure we do have clinics or whatever in Asmara, and I have been in contact with them since we have adopted families. And there's also in Karen, there's also in Aduhala, there's also, it's just obviously not as much as this, but they're always doing their best to serve people there. You know what I mean?
That's so good.
So I have been in contact with them before, and we have adopted families, about like 25, 27 families. And people continue to go see them and visit them, and it's just been amazing. And I hope we continue to do that. But I think there is increase in terms of, and where I am in my research now, and we will continue to do is, yes, there's genetic part. By the way, there's a research that's been done. If you know Leah, she's in Texas, and DNB area too. They have done some research that right now in the US is 1 in 31, right? The current one is 1 in 31, but that's just, you cannot even include our community there because our community, it's just now, even since I started doing this, awareness and all that stuff, we're seeing increase. But even before that, it was 1 in 26 in our community in terms of like, in terms of East African.
Sure.
And when we say East African, it includes Ethiopian, Eritrean, and Somali. But we know 100% Somalians are very, very quick than us. So even it could be you know what I mean, like skewed.
Skewed, for sure.
Because they're very good in terms of getting, treatment, getting screening and all that stuff. So I'm definitely interested in getting our own data and our own studies. So that's something that I'm interested in. I'm focusing on. But there's definitely the increased screening, but there's definitely genetic part.
Sure.
And also more of epigenetic as well.
Right. Yeah.
Because yes, we have it back home, but it hasn't been as much as this. And also with the migration and all that stuff, we've seen a lot of increase in here.
Yeah. I wonder, have you seen, I mean, through your research, and I'm not sure exactly what your research is like tailoring to, but have you been able to pinpoint, is it, there's a lot of talk about red dye 40 being an issue, or gluten, or is it dairy, or is it, have in your research been able to maybe pinpoint a specific thing in our environment that's contributing to the increase in autism?
Well, there is environmental factor. We already know this, but it is not just, we talk about, vaccine and all that, including myself. However, it is not only vaccine. I've said this so many times. It is not only vaccine, because we have children who are vaccinated and unvaccinated. So there is genetic part. There's a genetic factor there. However, there's some factors that is kind of like triggering the genetic. You know what I mean? The same thing with diabetes, right? It can run in your family. It could be in your genetic makeup, but there has to be something. Yeah. And for us, East Africans, especially Eritreans, there's just so much of complex things that could be. So much. Like when I look at it from a different, I'm like, oh my God, there's so much. In terms of like right now, I've been studying more in terms of, because I specialize in trauma and autism, and these are very related. It's like the new research stuff that's coming out. It's like, oh my God. And then also in female and autism, because actually most of the time, even in here, the research is made for male. It's not only male, but we're talking about white male.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, we need to focus on our own. And when it comes to females, because 4 in 1, like for every 4 boys that are diagnosed with autism, there's only 1 female, right? And in our community, when I look at, I'm like, in our community only my daughter, there would be like 20 boys and only my daughter at her age. Or even like, you know what I mean? There's so many, but it's not because there's none. What I'm studying is autism in girls looks different than in boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, there's there's other diagnosis, other diagnosis with the comorbidity and all that. But I'm more interested now is like, wait a minute, because of cultural, there's a cultural factors as well. So the women don't get diagnosis, even globally. Women don't get diagnosis until like their 20s, 30s, and 40s. We already know that, even in the US, because I do have clients who are neurodivergent.
Sure.
And most of the times, guess what? They don't even get diagnosed until they're moms themselves. And then it's like, wait a minute, what? So it's just, there's a lot of very interesting, research, and I focus more on that. I feel like I've done a lot in terms of the awareness and all that. So there's years of data there. I'm like, you guys can go and look at it. And I like that our community is talking about it. But I'm more like in the back end doing other stuff in terms of how do we support. We're only focusing on the young people, but these young people are going up to be adults as well.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where my head is like, oh, we're focusing on this, but there's something else waiting for us.
For sure.
And for me, looking and working with the neurodivergent community, that's helping me see of what we're expecting with our kids and stuff. Because in our community, sometimes it's like they're waiting for a miracle. Oh yeah, my child is going to be cured. And this, And I keep telling them, listen, my child is not receiving nothing, but she's still neurodivergent.
Right.
She's still autistic. And imagine I'm the one who taught them, and they say, "Bes ma'am beli, bes ma'am no, autism allo. I'm like, but my child still has autism.
Yeah.
And she's fine. She's gifted. She's in every, you know what I mean? So I'm focused on like working on those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's even within the autism groups that we're making, whatever, there's still a lot of stigma and a lot of shaming.
Yeah.
And not understanding that it's a spectrum.
Yeah. And a lot of, let's just pray it away.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Let's take them to
there's a lot of that.
And it's like, totally respect your religious beliefs, like pray to your God, do your thing. But the reality is, your child has autism in the same way, like you said, people have diabetes or high blood pressure. Sure. Pray to your God. That's great. But like, let's also treat the thing, or let's also offer support and therapies and services. Like, I don't know. I agree. I think there's someone wrote it in the comments, like there's a denial portion of it. Because I think sometimes parents feel shamed about like, did I do something to cause my child to have autism, And I think our community can also be a little bit of like, well, what will other people say? So it's really hard. But I mean, it's like so encouraging to hear all the work that you've done, especially in regards with trauma and autism. I think that's very interesting, considering how much trauma our people have gone through, decades long war and migration out. And I'm curious to see what your research will show. Hopefully I'll figure out how to follow you, because this is very interesting.
No worries. I will connect. Actually, how do I do that myself? Oh no, I do. I do the plus, right? I just did it. I think you gotta hit that plus thing.
Okay, perfect.
The plus will work.
Love it.
I will send a notification.
Okay.
Anyway, so this is amazing. We all need to talk about this. That's one thing that I want us to focus, all professionals, is because we all need to talk about this in our community. It's everywhere. Nobody can, avoid it. If you don't have a child, somebody in your family have a child. I don't care who you are, somebody in your family, somebody at your church, somebody in the community at this time. You know what I mean? So it's very important we all talk about it, and with no shame, with nothing, you know what I mean? And we need to support them. We need to make sure that we have inclusion in our churches, in our communities, and we're also educating ourselves and our children as well. These children are different, and it is okay to be different. They're not the same. It's a spectrum. Some of them are very gifted, like my daughter is gifted, but there are other people also that are not gifted, but they're still valuable. They bring value to our community. And we need to be accepting them and helping them where they are. Everybody's different, and that's okay. For sure. And we need to be teaching our children that. That's something that I want to focus on, is what I've observed is a lot of families are not teaching their children to accept kids that are different, because you can see it, because I know they're taught at school. But when you see it in different communities and churches, we're like, wait, what's happening here? Yeah. Something is missing, because I know they're teaching them at school. Yeah. But they're not. Something is missing there. So that's something in our community. I'm like, yeah, we need to be teaching our children, and not like that, like, oh, poor them. I'm like, I don't need that.
Oh, yeah.
We don't need that. I need you to be open and to be, you know what I mean? To be accepting of difference, neurodiversity. So that's where I'm focusing now in terms of teaching our communities and our churches. That's very important. So
sure. Our kids learn how to treat other people from how they hear us talk about other people. You don't even have to sit them down and say, like, if you see a child on the spectrum or a child that's nonverbal, like, and you speak about them with love, caring, kindness, and just, that they belong, your kids will absorb that, and maybe even more formal teaching of saying, like, hey, like, if your friend is stimming out in public and they're flapping, like, they're just regulating themselves. It's okay. It's just allowing them to kind of calm down. So yeah, I think there's a lot of education and awareness that still needs to be done. And I think a lot of people, including yourself, have been able to do that, which is awesome.
Yeah, we're trying to do that. So I think, again, this is just the beginning. I've been doing this almost for 10 years, but I feel like it's still the beginning in our community.
Yeah.
It's the beginning. So yeah, but thank you. It's nice meeting you. And
I hope our paths can connect pretty soon.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely would love to connect with you and other professionals. It's very important for us to speak regarding whether it's autism or other mental health, because it affects all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Anyway, I will be listening here.
كترجمنا دي خد أزغل الحين
Sorry, I got excited. You know when I find
no ولا تعلى لنا ندلو
زي زمان باي زوي تبوت يا زي فلاورز على علال ندحر تسمعوا دليهم انجلش تمارو اقداس زمان تقدر راح نترجم فلاور ግን بعلهم تمارو انجلش كان ግን خمسة سبعة خلوا الدكتور فلو زي ولكم فلو بلوا ادحينا لا كلنا بحفشات كونكشن ادحين تاي تبني رعنتو كنتأسسر علينا انت بحد حبيرنا نسرح لنا كنراخب علينا تبني راس اذا حدا خبطي بزحات سبات او تخوف لكم زلهم الدكتور سيم دحر فلو زي ولكم انا ماني فلو كتبلو كيلكم لاتهم بزحات تصعرفون معزوعون فلو لكم كم زلهم فلتي سازي زتقم ነገር فلو نبر زتقم ነገር نغبر نبعنا anyway flower sorry what is go ahead.
Okay, thank you. أدحين دا يبال نفلت عندنا جقنا مخانكي حفتنا أنا ولا فيسبوك يرياني ريقن شو جزي ودي سلازي تولد بزح سلاتيزم قال أي فلت أني نيرة عند جناتي أتيزم زبال كم زي فليز بلا عينة حمام غيرنا إنا نوصدو نيرنا في اللي بأفريقيا هون كخد سمع خلقها حجي كم زي تي أتيزمنا زي زود حمام كم تعنتوي تولد أنحقه حمام باري بليبسي قال زفالة I don't know بزيها explain قبل اللي أخذ خلينا يفعل يخوني I don't know زيها بتعمل حتى تخونني عندنا قا اتز مدون قاي مشان لو active كله توم كل عسي جن مزرابي دونجيو نعم نسلسة خمسة عمتنا لعلي 4 عمت بتيحهم 5 عمت بتيحهم سي زي أتيزم كتب لهم أي تخيل جن كأق زاربو خا زي أبزرباي دونجيو جن كل نجارم أكتيف حجي إزس مسأتيزم دي زرخب ولاس كمايو قدم بلا كوي فلا لقيتي نأتيزم تأشي متبنيرة هاينا ما خلق لما لازبال سمعي جن أبزي مجمرة تزاريبات خوني دونجي تخلينو شركي قبر كان لي زخل تصبيك أني النار كيفكم هذا ما يتعرشوا تقرنيات سمعي خمس لني بتعمي مس جناكي نقاب سلامة أخي nice to meet you كإنجليش كان فتنا أيوة على حتى زي عمل السلة.
Tekla, do you want to? Because I think there were like 3.
Yes. So the first part was we were talking about it earlier that there are, though they were not confirmed like autism, but back home they would say like hamam bari, I don't know what's English, but something like, or similar to like epilepsy, stuff like that. So are those issues like, do they have a connection with autism, or are they they're all different? And the second part was that some kids they don't have autism or confirmed autism, and they're about like if they're 4 or 5 years old, but they still have speech delay. They're not talking at that age. So what could that be?
Okay. So yeah, not all speech delay. You're right. Not all speech delay is autism. Autism is like we said, a spectrum of activity that can.
You're cutting off a little bit. Do you have a mic?
Maybe تخلينه متجبر لا مثلا.
No, that mic. Okay, I think now it's good.
Maybe I need to not block my mic. Perfect. So you're right. All speech delay is not autism, right? It can just be speech delay, or it can be a part of another developmental issue. And so one thing that I would highlight is if your child, you're right, if you notice they are lagging behind, or you go to the pediatrician's office and you're filling out those forms and they're not where they need to be, early intervention is key. And not only early intervention, but early diagnosis, because you're right, it could be something else. And your primary or your pediatrician might send you to a neurologist, or they might send you somewhere to get genetic testing. So what I would say to that is just make sure if you're concerned about something, take them to get diagnosed as early as possible. And early intervention with speech therapy is going to be key as you're trying to figure out what it possibly could be. And then, Tekla, can you explain a little bit more about what Hamam what?
Okay, let me explain that first to everybody.
It's seizure. It's seizure, epileptic seizure. That's what they call it, Dr. Sia.
Okay, thank you.
Epileptic seizure, they call it Hamam Baria. When I found out, I'm like, what?
I'm glad you mastered in Tigrinya. Now you're helping us. By the way, Dr. Sim, Adhin and Asmi, we taught them Tigrinya on social media, so you're probably gonna pick up some Tigrinya, and in a year from now, you're gonna start speaking in Tigrinya yourself.
I need to. This is what I've been hoping and waiting for, because at no point would I ever assume that seizures is Hamam. Like, there's just no way. So I appreciate y'all. But go ahead, Tekla.
Wait. What do you mean you taught me Tigrinya? Wait a minute.
What?
Okay.
There you go.
سلام.
أسمي تخحدي يتقبلنا.
No, Tigrinya مهيرة يوم أنا برنتي زارب اللهم أنا سي.
كذكرك أني حب حق الحين كنت زارب كلاسي كذكرك أني عاملة مذكرة يا أسمي.
بابا حفتي كميك أني هي.
أسمي I miss you طفيقكم. أنا دي
I miss you too. في الشغل عملت دس كتب لك هذه أقوال كل جزء في الشغل مسبلت بك أصحاب تراي.
أسمي فما خنات حجزك. Thank you منقو في الغرفة.
I don't want to interrupt you guys, so go on.
Yes.
Continue whatever your conversation
Asmi
is.
another professional in our community that you guys need to connect. Anyway, just needing the what's called the net together, the networking.
There you go.
Anyway, so نبتاني فلاور حفنا زحتة التحدث قديمنا خن ملستي بزعبا ناي ركب مزرابن أوتيزم ينيرو تحدث لازم كنت يدرخوا وانتاي ينيرو. So حدا قلعة زربا سلاز دونغوي أوتيزم اللغة مالت هيكونها. سيزي حدا خنقوبرو زلنا جن كل جزء ندحر زربا يدونغو هاليو كان أوث ناي معباي شجرات كونس لزقولو تزحشي دوي كازبلت كنقوبرو نخل كم ولدي أنتيفنا خنا مرمرو أب حكمنا خير كل جزء زلوا عبيت يلكعوا وين يمرمروا وين سيزي بتشعر ساعات بقبو ندات خاتاتنا أنتيفنا عند حتى زلوا حاجز رخيبو زبلت فتح كون خيلي مالتي بر تبع الأخي حدا قلعة زرباس الدونجي ويسلي زي زارب أوتيزم اللغة مالت أيكون كنت استفعل عليه نقراتهم.
تخلينا حوي أبا خمل اللاسي انتاي ديدلي وديسي ودي 3 عامات almost 4 عامات يخيدا الحجي من الباسي قانقا بزح عينت قانقا كم خسعب يخيل الحجي نعا حجي بطعمي زردني كزاربي زي يخيل مبار نعا قلملا ولا
بتقرنيا
هو حجي نعا خبلو تي أهابن خبلو قالي يردني قن إنجليش يدلي نمنتاي زباز حق زيد زحالة 3 عامات سي زباز حق زيد مس تلفزيوني جزي يحلفون أنا نمركنا بجزاء لكاي صراحة يسرح يحضر نسخة عمس تلفزيون مسحوات الحجي تي أنا حوات إنجليش الزاروا أنا تقريني الزاروا على التلفزيون زريو إنجليشيو أبوز زاروا بمحرنيا رايو حجي سري خوان شجرام تقيلو حجي زخانة نجار أكتيفي زخانة نجار تدلي وقتي تهابني بلكا بإيدو ملك ويوصدك أنا كم زي يري أمياتي زمان لهم زبحال قلعس كم زي يقويو قلتات بق أنا وقلع حواسن يوم حجنا وقلع حواسي يمس قلع صوتي قال حج في الله مالتي قن كزارة بايخ بقى I love you بالي الناس كنقركي ملحسوسي لو قم يلبق فرح يزول وشت طعمي فرحنا نمجمع زي بعد ناسي دك عمت قلعس بقى كل عينت زدلي وعينتهم زاربو أنا أبزود ديري تين كنت والد قلت فنين زربا جميرا ويس هيريديتي دخون كابيت سرج محلالف يبلينا انتي تماخر الناس كبزي أنا بدكتور دخوص دو ولا 3 عامتي لسقيلة صنيحة
Yeah.
تحجي سقيلة اسكنتاي حاج
Yeah, that's a good question because you're right. He's hearing 3 different languages. And so I wonder if that is also contributing. But Tekla, do you mind asking, does he say any words in Tigrinya or Amharic, or he's just not saying any words in any language?
No, English is Arab. English is what's up. زبس حجي بقى ما يبلناتي إزي sorry thank you قالي بلي بإنجليش زبس حجي ناب إنجليش قص قيدو أنا قا إنجليش كردو perfectي لأني حجس شجر كوين إنه ولا نعي بحق مالتي حجي حوات قطع مارين نسوق زي خاص دايك لاني نساي زي زحل حجي قراءتي وخون خيلدو يخوني لحاسيب حجي.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think. I think he's like at a perfect age where just try to get him into speech therapy and see if that helps. That would be my only recommendations. I don't know at Hanaj or anybody else if you have any thoughts, but that would be my 2 cents.
زيني حدش دي ما بزعد متى عدنا الكيمش حدش لهم
نا ويركب له سلسة أبز وليد عبيب
أبزي توليد عبيب أوكي
أجي دكتور نيران أدحيني دكتور نيراتو حابش نيراتا دكتورو أجي قد 3 عامات كيملة أجمرن زربايلاتني أجمرن منابتن سبيش تراب حق زادخنا محلالفو حج أنا خابك أوتي محامي متبلن زلت راح يخوين تسمين بقى لبي أدحيني بقى أنا خطني خم وبقى نو حابش نو أتيسم كويني أتبلك زلا مالتيكو بقى أدخل زربايك لبي فريحي مالتي حق زي الزربايجي حج خام عيلة متينا بزعدي
نو أنتي بالمسيلكي مجمرة أنا أشخون خلو autism تاشمن كبلو يكونم that's why developmental delay لهم يقبروا بس بفلاي اندحر كتبلو زي تقل كونكا اندحر نتصور زي كونه خوينو developmental delay لهم يبلو مش جن ولا autism يخونو ولا speech يخونو it is speech كلهم كوهابون لهم anyway but diagnosis ني autism كمان add لهم نينا speech كبلو right that's why كل جزين تايبل early intervention كاب 0 سقع 3 early intervention ስለዘሎ ናይ autism ምህላው ኣየድልኒ ናብታ ዘረባ ጥራሕ ሕታ ዘረባ ጥራሕ ስለ ደንጊ ዘሎ ሕጂ እንታይ ዝገብረካ እዚ ንዑ ትዘረባ እንዳበሉ ከለው ሽዑ እንታይ እቲ autism እንድሕራሎ እንዳተገለጸ እዩ ዝኸይድ ናይ ዘረባ ጥራሕ እንድሕር ኮይኑ ኦኬ እቲ speech ታሽሚ ሂብዎ ምሽ እቲ speech therapy ሂብዎ and then ይሰግርዎ ማለት ናይ speech ጥራሕ እንድሕር ኮይኑ which I know ብዙሓት ቆልዕት ብኸምኡ ዘብሉ ማለት እዩ ይሰግሩ that's it እንድሕር ናይ autism ኮይኑ ግን ከምዚ ኩሉ ግዜ ዝብሎ ክትሓበኦ ትኽእልኻ ወላ ተተዛረቡ ክትሓበኦ ትኽእልኻ ብዙሕ ሰብ ሕጂ ተዘረባ ምስ ጀመሩ ናተይ ኳ speech delay ጥራሕ ነይሩ ወላ ሓደ ይብሉ ገለመለ ይብሉ no you're lying to yourself autism ክትሓበኦ ትኽእልኻ there's ካልእ ነገራት there's quirkiness there's different things right so እዚ እንዳተገለጸ እዩ ዝኸይድ ማለት እዩ ስለዚህ that's why after diagnosis ገለመለ ከይበልና እቲ ቆልዓ እንታይ ሓገዝ ዘድልዮ ደሎ ኣብዚ ሕጂ ግዜ እዚ so ናይ ዘረባ ይደሎ ማለት እዩ right ከም ዝበልክዮ ኻኒ ናይ ቋንቋ ካፕተን ዝበልክየን ጥራሕ ናይ ቋንቋ ምግጫው ክኸውን ይኽእል እዩ right ትግርኛ እንግሊሽ ካልእ ካብ በዚ እንድሕር ታሽሙ ካልእ ኣይ ካኒ ካብታ ዝበልክያ ኻኒ ቲቪ ብዙሕ እንድሕር ይርኢ ነይሩ እዚ ቲቪ ክንደይ ግዜ ኢለኩም it hijacks their mind I'm telling you guys it hijacks their mind ደቀይ ካብኡ ተማሂረ ስጋዕዛ ሕጂ there's no way ብፍላይ ከዓ ልዕል ትሕቲ 2 ዓመት እንድሕር ኮይኖም ትሕቲ 3 ዓመት እንድሕር ኮይኖም we should not be showing them television right ከነርእዮም ኣይግባአናን እዩ ንምንታይ ነቲ development ታሽሙ hijack እዩ ዝገብሮ ማለት እዩ even ዋላ እንድሕር daddy finger ክብሉ እንዳውዓሉ ኣቦኻ ቤለ ተልካዮ there's no way ከብሉኻ ከማን ኣይክእልኒ ስለዚ ነቲ development hijack ስለዝገብሮ ብላለና ማለት እዩ so sometimes even it is screen ታሽሙሎ screen induced autism ድብሎ ኣለዎ too much screen ውን ኮሚታት የብሎም so እዚ ኢታት ውን ማለት እዩ that's why ካብቲ screen ኣልግሶኦም ድብል ማለት እዩ ሽዑ እንዳተገለጸ ይኸይድ right so ነዚ ሕጂ ታቀንድ እንታይ ጥራሕቲ early intervention ሞነር እዮም ናይቲ ስፒች ናይ ዘረባ እንደን እንዳተገለጸልና ይኸይድ ማለት እዩ ግን ብፍርሒ ኣይንግበሮ ይሕዋት ኣነ ዝፈርሕ እንታይ ይመስልኩም ኣነ ዝፈርሕ እዞም ቆልዑ ቀልጢፍና ክንረድኦም እንዳኸልና ከለና ምሽክነት መብዛሕትኦም ናይ ሓበሻ ሰኣን ብፍርሒ ማለት እዩ ብፍርሒ ትምህርቲ መስከዱ ኢና ነብሎማት ትምህርቲ መስከዱ ሽዑ እንታይ it's really sad ንዓቶም because كل ጊዜ ብዛዕባ ጓለይ ዛረብ ጓለይ ኣይትዝክሮን ከማን all she remember is ፀወታ ኣት remember ትገብር እዚኣ ምሳይ ትፃወት ነይራ እዚኣ ምሳይ because ፀወታ ኢና ዓቶም ብፀወታ ጌርና ምስ ዓበዩ እንድሕር ጌርካዮ ግን ብዙሕ ይጎድኦም ኢና ዓቶም ዋላ ዳሕራይ እውን ምስ ዓበዩ there's a lot again ይብለኩም ምስ neurodivergent people ስለ ዝሰርሕ ይርየ ኣነ ዳሕራይ እውን እንታይ ይብል ማለት ኣብ ዲፕሬሽን ኣብ ገለ ብዙሕ ዘብሎም ስለምታይ ካብ ካልኦት ተሪፈ ስለምታይ ካብቶም መዛነይ ተሪፈ ዝብሎም so ንኣሽቱ ከለው እንድሕር ሓጊዝናዮም ብዙሕ ክነብል ንኽእል ኢና ማለት so don't worry again autism ኢሎም ከደም ኣይበልኹን ኣይነው ንውላድ ክትፍቅሩ እየ ኣኺ ክትሕብሕብ እየ ኣኺ ስለዚ ኣብ ምንታይ ፎከስ ክንገብር ኣለና ኣብ ምንታይ እቲ ቆልዓ ደንጊደሎ ኣብ ዘረባ ኦኬ ንዓ ኣታክል ንግበራ ብድሕሪኡ ኸ እንድሕር ካልእ ኣሎ ቀስቀስ እንዳበልና ከምኡ ንገብር ማለት እዩ so ተረዲኣትክላ እዚ ናይ ኤፕለፕሲ ድበልክዮ ኸዓኒ ገሊኦም ቆልዑት ኤፕለፕሲ ኣለዎም ናይ almost 35% 25 to 35% እዞም autism ዘለዎም ኤፕለፕሲ ኣለዎም ኤፕለፕሲ ኣሎ ማለት ግን autism ኣለዎም ማለት ኣይኮነን ዋላቶም ናይ autism እውን ይብሉ እዮም መብዛሕትኦም ሕጂ ገሊኦም ካብ ንኣሽቱኦም ከለው ክትሪኦ ትኽእል ኢኻ that's why ከይትኩም ኣርእይዎም ንብሎ ማለት እዩ neurological ተኣሽሙ ንድሕር ገይሮም ገሊኦም ከዓኒ ኣብቲ ተኣሽሙ ክቕየሩ ከለው ዕድመ ሕጂ like እንድሕር ንኣሽቱ ከለው ደይጀመሮም sometimes ኣብዚ ጉብዝ ክብሉ ከለው ናይ ቲኔጅ ገለ ክብሉ ከለው እቲ ሆርሞናል change ክኸውን ከሎ ሽዑ ከዓ ንሪኦ ኢና ናይ ገሊኦም ማለት እዩ right ንኣሽቱ ከለው ገሊኦም ትሰግርዎ ኣለው ገሊኦም ከዓኒ ኣብ ሜዲኬሽን ክኾኑ ኣለው atleast 2 ዓመት ኣብ ከፕራ ይኾኑ እንደንሪኦም ኣሰስ ገይሮም ገለ ከብልዎም ይኽእል እዩ so ኩሎም ዝተፈላለዩ ስለ ዝኾኑ ግን again ኣለዎ ማለት seizure autism ኣለዎ ማለት ኣይኮነን ወይ ከዓ speech delay ኣለዎ ማለት autism ኣለዎ ማለት ኣይኮነን that's why ta early intervention ጌርና ቀስቀስ እንዳበልና ክንከይድ ንኽእል ኢና ማለት እዩ እዚ